I'm speaking to their day-to-day life. The thing about the singles ministry in which I shepherd, from day one, I was communicating indirectly. Now I communicate directly that I'm not here to speak to your symptoms. And so your symptoms is singleness. Your symptoms are loneliness. Your symptoms is depression and heartbreak. All those things are symptoms. But if I can introduce you to Jesus Christ, if I can make the Bible more real through the power of the Holy Spirit, then God will begin to speak to those things on the inside of you, get to the very core of what those symptoms might be. And then if I can introduce you to spiritual growth, get you closer to God, then those things like singleness, those things, whether there's a cycle, a dysfunctional cycle that you have that you're unaware of, it takes God to be able to bring those things to surface so that you can see yourself. And so like the book that I wrote, No Regrets, How to Foolproof Your Dating Life, was birthed from the conference that I preached in 2005, right? And so the thing about this is that book, I was intentional by saying how to foolproof your dating life because I know it would turn a lot of people off. But when you read the book, it has very little to do with dating and more to do with self-revelation and spiritual growth and self-awareness. I think the greatest gift you can give someone is your own personal growth. And so that is something that I think is critical, because you meet people day after day, you meet relationships that have broken, marriages that have fallen apart, and it's always the other person. And very, very rarely will we take a look at ourselves and conduct an autopsy on our own selves and not necessarily the other person, because when you begin to see what you have contributed, whether it was 5 or 25 or 95%, you want to go into your next relationship, your next season, a better person, not a bitter person.
That's true. So self-reflection truly is extremely important. Now, with that being said, you have this annual conference, and
Yes.
this year you have an amazing lineup. Let's
Absolutely,
talk about that.
absolutely. I am so elated about this conference that we have taken place. We're heading into our 4th year, and we have more people signed up this year than we have had any of the first 3 years. And this year, we're going to only be 2 days. It's on April the 27th and April the 28th. On Friday night, we're going to have a night of laughs. It's a praise party and a night of laughs. Dustin Nickerson, he came to Memphis a couple of years ago, and he opened up for Michael Jr., and this guy was absolutely hilarious. And so we're bringing him in from California. He will be our main comedian that night. We're going to have a praise party. If anyone has come to this, or if you heard about it, or if you hadn't heard about it, this would be one of the great things you can do for yourself in 2018. So that Friday night from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, we're just going to have praise, and we're going to have comedy. We're going to have 2 acts, and then we're going to close it with a little praise. And that's just the way we're going to kick off this conference, right? It's going to, right now in 2018, we need to laugh more. Somebody can say amen, right? And so, on Saturday, then we'll open it up on Saturday, and we have speakers from Kim Pothier, and she's in Atlanta. We have Gina Neely. That's our homegrown woman, and she's going to be there. She's going to bless us because she has some real talk. We have some real conversation. We call the red table that we're going to talk about. We're going to just have some chit-chat conversation and really bring to the floor things that we don't ordinarily talk about in the church. But anyone who knows the ministry that God has given me understands that I am committed to vulnerability, transparency, right? The things that we need to be talking about, because I believe the Bible teaches us it's a sin to harbor shame, right? And allow shame to keep us silent. And so I appreciate Gina. She's going to be there. My brother Sean Saunders, now he is in New Jersey. He went to Princeton and Duke. He went to Duke. We went to Duke at the same time, but went to Princeton at different times. He's my publisher. He's the one who published both of my books. I released a new book this year, Invisible Disabilities, How to Conquer What is Conquering You. And he's helped to publish these things. He's someone who sharpens me, challenges me. This guy has a word to give you. And so he's going to be here. He's been here every year. I have Nate Stevens. He was here the first 2 years. He's coming in from North Carolina. He's an author. He's a life coach. He will be able to bless us and speak into our lives. Katie Kazadi, she's in California right now, but this woman is on fire, and she's going to be there on Friday night for spoken word, but she's going to be there on Saturday. The thing about our conference this year, and I'm always trying to develop it more, is that we have these 5 plenary sessions, these main sessions, but for lunch, we're going to have lunch and learn, or you can call it munch and learn, breakout sessions, and they're going to be 4 sessions. I'm teaching one, Sean's teaching one, Katie Kazadi's teaching one, and Nate Stevens is teaching one. This is in addition to the 5 sessions that you're going to be able to get where everyone will be around you. So we're going to have this conference jam-packed with information, with spiritual nourishment that will be able to help people, because the theme of our conference this year, get this, is shifting season. And so last year was, chasing destiny, but this year is shifting season. And many times I believe in preaching out of whatever I'm experiencing. And for me in my own life, I'm in a season where I feel that God is shifting me in more ways than one. And so the preaching that I have been giving and have been sharing over the course of the last 6 months probably reflects that. And so the theme of our conference is shifting season. And I'm going to be teaching a breakout session called Breaking the Cycle, how to fight for your breakthrough.
Yeah.
That's not even my main session, but there is 21 years of cycles that the Lord has finally brought to my doorstep that was birthed through the book that I had released. And I believe that this session will be able to help some people. In addition to the other classes that my colleagues will be teaching, I believe people will be blessed. Now, I call this open borders, meaning that you didn't have to pre-register for any of these. When you get there, if you find one that speaks to you, you get to go to that. Now, the thing about this, each year people don't realize is that we've always paid for lunch. You'll get a registration for $35 and you get hot humdingers lunch, and you get tote bags, and you get t-shirts, and you get ink pens. All these things amount. They cost. In addition to the speakers and all the other things, this year we're not providing food, but we're going to have 4 different food trucks on site, and we're going to have 3 different food vendors on the inside of the church. So we'll have 7 different opportunities for you to be able to find food at a reasonable price, because they understood that you can't come on this campus and you can't be a part of this conference if you don't bring things that are reasonably cost, right? And so I love it. Dipsicle, they're in Cordova, and so they'll be providing some dessert. We have vendors, about 50, 60 vendors from around the city, so you can do vendor shopping. I'm trying to think outside of the box, and I'm trying to provide a conference that speaks to everyone where they may be, and to be able to answer all kinds of questions. And the thing about it this year that wasn't the case last year, and I'll let you hand it back to you, because I'm a preacher and I talk too long.
That's all right, honey. I'm just saying amen and not.
Is that the very first year of this conference, I entitled it No Regrets Singles Conference. But I wasn't always at peace with that, because everyone doesn't, they don't align themselves or subscribe themselves to being single, even if they're in a relationship. There's this epithet, there is this label that comes with it. And I've noticed some people can be dating and they'll tell you that they're not single. They don't look at singleness as not being married. Correct. They look at single as being by yourself and perhaps lonely. But what God is going to do through this conference over the course of the next years, I speak it and I declare it, is that this conference isn't just limited to those people who are widows, those people who are single, never married. I want to open it up to people who are newly married and people who are married, because the word that God gives me on a Sunday morning, it speaks to people even in their married life. When you read that book is a premarital counseling book. It's something that you have on your shelf. And so this conference, the label of the classes, it should be able to speak to you. It's about communication. It's about developing and understanding who you are and what is it that you bring from your childhood and your household that you still are carrying with you, that's keeping you and your relationship from growing, right? And these are things, it doesn't matter if you're single, dating, seriously dating, or married. And so the title of this conference moving forward is the No Regret Singles and Relationships Conference. Because relationships encompasses so many different things. Because I have people who have gotten married. My brother Gerard Cooper is about to be married. You're talking about blended families. You're talking about relationships with your children, relationships with your parents, relationships with your siblings. These are things that we need to bring into a conference setting and being able to unlock some doors so some people can be able to grow and live the life that God has for them.
Now, Pastor Curry, for those who are listening this morning and who want to participate in this year's Single and Relationship Conference, How can they get more information?
You ask wonderful questions.
Thank you.
And so what I would love for people to do, because the conference closes, the registration closes on April the 16th. That's a few days from now. That's Monday. The reason why it closes is because we need to get prepared for the masses. We need to get shirts ordered. We need to get a lot of different things ordered. And so it closes on April the 16th, Monday. Now, of course, the conference takes place on April the 27th and 28th. But if you want to be a part of this right now, you can go to hopechurchmemphis.com/no regrets. If you go there, you'll be able to click on an easy link and go ahead and register so that you can secure your seating. I promise you, if you go to the website, you can learn more about the speakers. You can learn where they come from. You can follow them. You can see what they have going on. You can follow me on my social media platforms. Learn whatever you need to learn. That's Isaac Curry, ISSACCURRY. You can find that on all social media platforms. You can find me. But that's how you can register for this conference.
All right, give that website one more time.
That's hopechurchmemphis.com/no regrets.
No regrets indeed. Thank you so much, Pastor Curry, for coming back here to Positively Memphis. Such a joy. And for those who are listening this morning, thank you all for also joining us. We'll be back with more here inside Positively Memphis.
Thank you for having me.
All right, there we go.